Or is there one thing that you can put your finger on that says this is probably the most dynamic way that an annuity has evolved in the time that you've been doing this?
What we're seeing is it's beyond just the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500 is the leading U.S. benchmark, but 30 years ago, that's all they had, was how to allocate to the S&P 500. And a lot of what I do, my role is to work with, especially the academic partners we have, some of the leading asset managers, in bringing different indices into the product. Now, why does that matter? We've had a really good bull market. Frankly, the S&P strategy could outperform the other strategies. A lot of people say to me, well, you're just pinheaded. The other things didn't work. Well, remember the last decade, and not to be doom and gloom, right? There are different markets where not the S&P 500 is always going to be the best market. So if you're going to buy a policy, to your point, for 20, 30 years, right, because you're looking to live longer, 40 years even, you want to have choice in the policy. And that choice maybe is even diversification, that we're not having bets. So we've been able to see that prowess. The other thing is I think we have a much more robust offering to think about the other considerations of why you buy the policy, such as maybe you didn't buy long-term care. A lot of people, first of all, long-term care isn't as affordable or available as it once was 20, 30 years ago. You saw companies like Genworth really have financial problems. So the ability to bring in a policy that maybe gives you some additional liquidity or enhancement there, that's important. I think the furthering of guaranteed income in the policy, those are things that weren't as robust and that have really furthered, which is important. The other part of this is preparation, but what about ongoing maintenance? And okay. I highlighted earlier the idea that you're now 12 years into retirement, you might want to roll your annuity. Well, there's peak 65, but what about peak RMD age? That's going to be happening. And a lot of people are going to have additional income that they have to take. Where are they going to put that money? I look at my own mother. She's 79 years old. She is not spending all of her RMDs. What she's doing, though, is saying, I don't want to put it all in the stock market. I'd rather put some in the index annuity. Now, it's going to be in a non-qualified index annuity, but she's okay with that. It suits her well, and it's able to give her tailored opportunities to get access to some additional care needs, and if she were to have that issue of needing care, some additional payouts there. Maybe it also has some ability for longevity, life needs. So that's where we also think about the bigger picture of the life cycle of retirement, not just the preparation.